Hello. Welcome to this talk. My name is Jada Van Boven, and I am a freshman at Wake Tech Community College, and I will be talking to y'all about racial issues, white privilege, and white privilege with poor white people, and stuff for my sociology project. So here we go. So I read an article that was called Explaining White Privilege to a Broke White Person. I know a lot of times this is a topic that most of us are uncomfortable to talk about, or it's not as easy to talk about with many people. So here we go. So this article is mainly about the author Cochran and how he was telling us about his experience as a poor white person and stuff like that. But at the same time, that doesn't give white people the chance to say like white privilege doesn't exist, because at the end of the day it does. And a lot of times he was talking about in the article how even though he was white and he was poor, he still could see like his privilege as like he gave the example as in when he turns on TV or when he reads his book, his race is widely shown, or is widely an aspect of many things. And so that was one thing that he said that really caught my eye. And so for this, I'm going to put up different words that are concepts in his article. So intersectionality is the first word, privilege and poverty is the second word, and marginalism is the third word. So intersectionality, what does this word mean? Intersectionally means interconnected nature of social categorization such as class, race, or gender. So in this situation, he was his intersectionality was his race and his class. Because he was so poor, his life was not hard. I mean, his life was hard, but because he was white, he was able to write this article and stuff like that. Little things that helped him like get up there just because of his skin color. A lot of times he was talking about how like his class did play a role in his life, because a lot of times his family would move around a lot, or like they'd sleep in their trailer and stuff like that. So that's why when white poor people get mad that white privilege is something that they experience, they don't see it because they don't see the privilege that other white people are getting, as in rich white people or middle class white people. So you don't see that privilege there. The next word is marginalism. Marginalism means a group of people who are pushed to the outer parts of society. And so I think a lot of the times what happens is that he as in like Cochran and other white poor people feel like as if they're pushed to the side of society and not really experiencing the white privilege that many of the white people or all white people experience. They think that because of their class, because of the money issues that they have financially, that they do not see those privileges that other white people are seeing. The last word that I'm going to do is privilege and poverty. So these two kind of don't really go hand in hand, but I thought that these were two very distinct aspects in his article. So privilege is to all white people. There's a saying that I was talking to someone, they said people of color have several barriers solely dependent on their skin tone. Regardless of wealth, education, or status, whites are seen as more capable by society. Even poor whites have a level of privilege that people of color will never obtain. And I think that's a big thing that we should all think about or experience or see in our society, in our world, because even though you're black or you're white, education status and stuff doesn't really play it can play a role, but in the grand scheme of things, our society has been so built on thinking and seeing color, seeing black and white, and basing like their capability on our skin tone. But white people don't really have to like they're not really affected by that because they are white. Like no one sees them and for the most part, it doesn't happen towards them. For me, my personal experience is like, so my ascribed characteristics is my race and my age. So I am Black, I'm African American, I was born in Ghana, West Africa. I came here when I was about 2 years old, and I've been back a couple times, but now I am 18 years old. And then some of my achieved characteristics about myself is that I currently work at Victoria's Secret, and I am a sales generalist, and I have also been through elementary school and high school, and I am now in college. I think these are two aspects of me that have played a role in like racial issues and racial discrimination stuff. In high school, I was on the lacrosse team, and I was the only Black girl on my lacrosse team. So a lot of the times it was kind of awkward for me because I never, other than the love of having the love of lacrosse, I didn't really connect with a lot of other girls. A lot of the other girls were really they wore their white privilege well, because they knew how to talk to me. They knew how I'd feel about certain things. They even would say the N-word on the team at times, and that was when I had to like put my foot down. So in times like that, it was really hard for me to speak on that, because I felt like everyone was against me. I felt like a lot of the times I was just by myself, but because I was the only Black girl on the team. It was about 35 of us on the varsity team. And so I experienced that a lot from my freshman year till senior year of high school. I kept playing because I love lacrosse. I love playing that game. But it was hard being on a team like that and having so many closed-minded girls on that team, not really realizing how the words that they said or statements that they said affected me. Even sometimes when the girls will come with spray tans and be like, Juju, I'm your skin color, or I'm as close as Juju, look, y'all, look, I look like Judith. Stuff like that would really affect me, and I'd be like, it's not funny, it's not a joke. But most of the times they didn't really see it like that. And so that also played a part in like my identity and who I am. Another thing is like throughout high school, I was also in a lot of AP courses or honors courses, and I'd look around and I'd be like one of the only Black person in that AP course, or there'd be only three people that looked like me in that AP course or honors class. So a lot of the times, racial discrimination and racial injustice in our society goes way past just wealth and education and stuff like that. It usually has a lot to do with how society views everyone else in their eyes. Skin tone, even colorism between the Black community. Black people, if you're lighter skinned, you are viewed as like more prettier or just more appealing to the eye, versus if you're a darker Black person, you might get discriminated that way as well. So a lot of the times it comes with conflicts like that, but I think through this, Cochran's article really shows that even if you are a poor white person, you also do benefit from white privilege just because you're white. It's not anything to be guilty about, but it's better for the white people to be aware of that. So yeah, thank you for just being able to listen to me and my experiences and how I felt about this article.